Hey everyone, welcome back to our Throneway Dissect, episode 3.
Woohoo! We are doing things a little bit differently this time around. I know in the past we've dissected the albums ourselves, analyzed, gone through the lyrics, our own personal reflections, but got something exciting for you guys this time. We somehow managed the funds. You know, we had a lot of donors, we had a lot of sponsors, and we managed the funds to bring on a special guest. Are you excited?
Yo, I'm so excited. You know what's funny about this though?
Yeah?
I don't know if you remember this, but you are the first person that introduced me to this
Yo,
guest.
that's so crazy to
Like,
me.
I think it was like 2 years ago too. You put me on his song called Maria.
Yes, on his EP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, since then, I've been like, I wasn't really in my Christian phase of music back then.
Yo.
And then it was like September last year after World Youth Day, I found his like new album, and then that's what started. I was like putting together my praise and worship songs.
Yeah.
And then so I was like, wow, this is really good. And that's how it all.
That's how you first.
Yeah, that's how I first started
way.
the album and everything.
So
I
we-
actually got into it.
We've given some hints now of who it could
Take
possibly
guesses.
be. For more information, just to give you a bit more of an idea, we have a jack of all trades today. We have a filmmaker, we have a musician, a photographer, a producer, just like an all-around great person. Houston raised. It's not Beyonce. I'm sorry. Because next time around, we'll promise.
What
we
a
promise.
disappointment.
Yeah, I know. It's
So sad.
Even better though. We have, drumroll please.
Cue audience clapping.
Yeah,
Annsbert, let's give it up for Annsbert. Hello, welcome. Oh,
Thank you.
welcome.
handshake
Did you
there.
want us to stand up? Should we bow as well? Okay. Sounds good. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Yo, thank you so much for coming on our podcast today. I think we should first start off. I have some questions. Or like, when I first heard your music and stuff, I definitely had different impressions. Starting with the fact that I thought you were significantly older. Like, I thought you were like 28, because I was like, oh, yo, he has like his album out, you know, he's got to be like, he's
Successful.
Yeah, like wise guy. He's probably got years of experience under his belt.
yeah.
And how old are you?
24.
Yeah, bro, what?
Baby.
And
Basically.
yo, I was like, bro, he's basically your age.
He's my age and 10 times more successful.
Yeah,
so
and I was
just
like, damn.
working my
Real,
way
what are you
out.
doing?
Elevating.
When I grow up, I hope to be you.
Okay, also, even when we were like, even for me personally, I was so confused because I would like talk about your album and things like that, and like, Annsbert, blah, blah, blah. But then some people would refer to you as Dan. And I was like, who's Dan?
Yes.
So, can you tell us about why you go by the stage name like Annsbert and where that comes from?
Annsbert, yes.
Yeah.
So I actually got really creative with my stage name.
Yeah.
I chose my first name. So my
Wait.
first name is Annsbert.
So, wait, Dan?
It's your middle name.
Dan is my middle name.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. So everyone calls you Dan?
So it's just that growing up, teachers, parents, basically a lot of people call me Dan. 'Cause
Okay.
It's more easier. It's
Yeah.
easier to yell. That kind of thing. So
One syllable. Yeah.
One syllable. So I just started going by Dan. It was easy to introduce myself as Dan.
okay.
And then I think at some point when I was gonna put out music, it was originally gonna be Dan.
Yeah.
And I realized there's so many Dans. I was like, oh, I actually looked it up. There's literally no other living Annsberts.
Oh, okay.
There is one Annsbert who in the past was a saint. So it's
Oh,
Is
yo,
that
that's
where your
pretty
name comes from?
no, not at all.
Oh,
That's
okay.
a whole other history we don't have to go into.
Fun
but
fact, okay.
I
Gotcha.
have a lot of pre-father, what's the word?
Father?
History-
Predecessors.
Predecessors.
Yeah.
Predecessors
Yeah.
who have the suffix Bert in their name.
Gotcha.
Oh.
I got a Lambert, a Robert.
Oh.
So I'm Annsbert. So
Makes
That's
sense.
Yeah.
that's really cool,
Yeah.
actually. Wow.
Cool
Do you know
name.
what Annsbert means, actually?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's a
so
great
valid.
question.
That's fair.
Neither do
That is fair. Okay.
I'm gonna be going home.
Going home
and
and put in the comments down below what the meaning is. But no, we wanted to learn a bit more about you, get a bit more context on your upbringing, what brought you here.
Sure.
We did a little bit of digging.
Okay.
We pulled up your case file and we found some images.
Oh my gosh.
So we're the camera. We found some photos and we'd
Yeah.
love some context on
guys are crazy.
what's
Where'd
going
you
on.
find that?
Don't worry about it. Genuinely do not worry.
Yo, you're Annsbert. We gotta know.
Are you Nardwar? That's crazy. What is the context? Well, it appears to be me and my father at
How old are you in this? Do you know?
a prime age of 3, maybe.
Dang.
I don't know. This looks
Piano
like
at
This
3.
looks like Dubai. So I left Dubai when I was 5.
Yeah.
So,
5,
yeah, it
right.
would have been then. Yeah.
No, because you were also like a radio jockey in Dubai, right? At the age of 2. Like,
Oh my gosh, how do you
crazy.
know this?
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
you're Annsbert.
No, I was not a radio jockey. My dad worked at radio.
Oh, cool,
and
okay.
So whenever he got the chance, would sneak me into his jingles.
That's pretty cool.
Season's greeting, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's so
Actually,
cute.
Eid Mubarak.
Crazy.
That was my premiere into the music world.
I'm just imagining like a toddler eating
Yeah.
Mark, that's
Yeah.
so cute.
Yeah.
Yo, I love it.
Oh my God.
Okay, we got more. What about violin?
Okay,
Even
I'm glad
better.
you cropped that. I don't know
welcome,
who you
you're
got the
welcome.
photo from. That it's not.
This is not the full photo?
Oh, crazy,
That's
wild.
censored right there. Okay, well,
Wild.
my grandfather is a violinist. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I think that's probably his. I'm not sure.
Yo, that's so cute.
Wow. You picked this up from him.
No, I didn't ever learn. Actually, oh my gosh, I did learn violin for 3 years, but
Okay.
I forgot about the fact that like
You have this.
You
there
had
was
this picture?
a violin at home. Yeah, you know in the States, I don't know if you guys have this here,
Yeah.
but when you get to like 3rd grade, you're required to pick an instrument.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So for me, it was the violin.
Okay.
I honestly didn't like it.
Yeah.
Until maybe when I was also, which camera do I look at? It doesn't.
And
matter.
oh, that one. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
So it was kind of throwing me off because I was like, I don't know.
No,
Yeah, until I started producing again. Then I got like really interested in streaming.
Oh,
But until
okay,
then,
nice.
so yeah, this is not an instrument that I learned that young. This is
Okay.
really
No
me
way.
composing with it.
Oh,
Wow,
gotcha.
okay, okay.
No, we had that too. I also did violin.
Okay, cut.
I remember I was also like on the choir, and then we had like a concert coming up.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like more like a competition.
Gotcha.
And then my the teacher, the music teacher was like, "Yo, Maria, can you stay after class? Like, I want to talk privately." And I was like, "Yo, I'm getting a solo." Like, one of the big shots.
Yeah.
So I stay after class. She comes up to me. I'm just like trying to stay humble, like get a smile off my face, like serious mode. And then she's like, "So Maria, like for the competition, do you mind lip syncing?"
Oh no!
No joke.
That is
So,
Yo, what?
so as an actor of Valiant, I did very much scream.
Dang. So much for that
Use my
solo,
voice.
yo.
Use my voice for that concert. I can't say if we won or not,
Yeah.
but no, I was
Damn,
I
okay.
was a proud vocalist. So thank you for sharing. We have one more.
This is my favorite.
Best for last.
This
Yeah.
is my favorite. I think the favorite part is like just the aesthetic, the fashion sense, the shoes. Iconic. The shoes, though. That is very, very cool.
I kind of want to work this into my persona in the future, where it's just undies and shoes. But
This is your look.
this is my signature look. I think it was just a photo shoot. It was a family photo shoot, and we still have this guitar.
No.
That's so
Yeah,
cute.
it was like the tiniest little, and I think they just gave it to me, and I think I just
You knew exactly how
that's
to
what I
hold
knew
it.
what I was
literally.
going to do.
Wow.
I'm joking.
That is sick, though.
Uh,
My goodness.
But I mad props to my parents. I love that, like, in some ways they kind of decided for me what I was gonna do.
From a young age. Yeah.
Wow.
But I already had an affinity, I think,
Yeah.
towards it.
So, which one of those instruments do you like enjoy playing the most?
Of those
Just-
instruments.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
Because,
interesting.
yeah,
You
we
have
had
three
pi-
different instruments.
Piano, violin, and now guitar.
That's a great question. I think for different contexts, different instruments.
okay, got
I think
you.
For the vibes, but funny enough, I can tell you that piano and guitar are probably more equal than
Okay.
the strings.
Oh, okay.
Funny enough, only because I can't actually play the strings. I play the strings more on my keyboard. So
Okay.
in some ways, the piano is probably the primary.
King of all instruments.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great fundamental instrument.
Got
If
you,
you
got
are
you.
a parent watching this podcast and you want to know which instrument to help your child understand the most about music, immediately, it's piano.
Yeah.
Guitar is really nice. Is my favorite primarily, but for education purposes, piano is.
Like starting off with
Yeah,
piano.
just
Makes
for
sense.
theory, listen to it.
Oh, very cool. That's actually a great tip. So another thing is like, so we talked about earlier how you do a lot. So filmmaker,
Yeah,
all that stuff,
producing, yeah.
music, singer. We also know that you're actually quite the actor, with your first stage performance being at 8 months old as Baby Jesus, and then in 4th grade he played Sebastian from Little Mermaid and had like the best Jamaican accent. So
we hear it?
can we
Guys,
hear
this
it?
is like a deep cut.
Can we hear it though? Can we hear it,
The
please?
Jamaican accent.
We put in
Yeah,
our
the
work.
Jamaican, the Sebastian.
So fun little story about the Jamaican thing is that we had we went to school in New York,
Yeah.
and we had like this off-Broadway person come and direct the play.
Oh wow!
And she showed up, and we're a whole bunch of 6th graders. Like we don't really have all this talent or anything. But then she shows up, and it's Little Mermaid, and it's the character Sebastian, and she just needed someone with a Jamaican accent, but arguably not anybody could do it at the time. So when we went up there, our only audition was Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Oh.
And I'm not joking when I tell you she said can you sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star? I sang it. And then she's like, can you sing it with an accent? And I pulled out an Indian accent.
No way.
And she goes, perfect. Can you stay after school? And she gave me the part. And then during the course of I had never actually watched the movie before I auditioned.
No.
Oh.
Over the course of like preparing for the play, I like started to like listen to the guy who sings a little
Yeah.
bit. But the seaweed is always greener.
Yo.
Lake. You dream about going up there, but that is a mistake. That's
That's so cool. Thank you so much. He sang
I got
it.
on the back burner.
Yo, he was ready for that.
Did you know we were gonna
No, but
you
I
look
don't
at the
know
script?
how you know about the baby Jesus, because I didn't even honestly remember that.
You didn't remember.
I
So is it-
vaguely know
You were there.
My goodness, how do you not remember that?
as a fellow.
As a fellow baby, I was there. My eyes were opened. I was like, okay, this is my like dream. This is the
man.
future. I was prepared for the movie.
Oh man,
So yeah, you had the.
I want to talk to you guys after about who you're sourcing about.
Chill. We asked the questions here.
Yes. It's not your moment. Calm down.
So we did your acting, yeah, and we got to learn a lot about you as a baby and your upbringing, but we also want to learn about your baby, son of a king.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Please
great
tell
segue.
us more.
Yeah. Can you tell us a bit about like your creative process and everything and how you started that and how old you were when you started thinking of the album and whatnot?
Oh, so this specific album I started thinking about 2 years ago. There was a retreat. There was a silent retreat at Mundelein, and they like asked me to come and help with the retreat. It's a silent retreat for like primarily for religious and for people seeking. So it's 30 days. So basically for the course of those 30 days, I wasn't required to be silent, and that was like I guess a sense of relief for me because I was like, oh my gosh, I can't talk for 30 days. But then I showed up and I realized, oh, I can talk. There's just nobody to talk to because everyone else is on silent retreat. So I ended up also being silent for 30 days. But during the course of that retreat, I also had an opportunity to do my own retreat within the retreat. And then there was a lot of experiences and inner healing and everything that came up through that retreat. And then it was kind of like a fruit of that retreat. So wrote the album while I was still at the retreat center, and then I came back, and then I spent about a year and a half producing it. And then and so now it's out.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So did writing the lyrics and like developing those songs, did that also provide any sort of inner healing or
absolutely.
support? Okay.
Absolutely. Like a lot of the songs, so some of the songs were kind of like the fragments of ideas came from the scriptures that I was reading, but some of those songs were like directly pulled from things I had written in my journal during.
No way.
Yeah. So
Okay.
like for the one of the songs, I believe it's Abide. That was written during like a holy hour. Like it was me kind of almost like, it was almost written like a letter, and then I came and like realized, oh my gosh, this is all the content that I need for this part of the journey.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah.
Wow, that's something I like something I can really appreciate from the album was like how much like I'm able to see my own experience or to like listen to it as like myself like going through it. And I can probably appreciate that because it was so vulnerable on your part as well, like speaking coming from your journals. So yeah, that's really beautiful.
Can I ask, like, why Prodigal Son? Like, why was that the
Yeah.
parable that's like the main theme of the album?
Yeah, it's interesting. We're at a conference right now, and we were giving a session for teens earlier, and we're kind of guiding them through confession. I had gone to this retreat knowing that there were going to be a ton of priests everywhere, and funny enough, I had done a confession 2 days before the retreat because I was like, I don't want to tell any of these priests anything, kind of thing. It's like I just want to walk in and be like lead them directly into retreat, kind of thing. But I showed up, and as soon as I got into my retreat, there was this sense of like during my holy hours, there was this emphasis on like sin, and it was interesting for me because I'm thinking that I'm in a clean slate when I come in, and I'm just like, oh, like keep up this like very like pious kind of mood kind of thing. But when I showed up, I realized that there's a lot of internal things that even from not recently, but from like many years of like things that have come up from childhood and all that kind of stuff, like they have in some sense influenced or tainted who I'm meant to be. And Prodigal Son was almost recognizing that not only me in my present, but me in the ways that I've turned away from God in my past, and even the ways that I have dampened who I'm supposed to be, was kind of this running away feeling. And so Prodigal Son came up very heavily because when I started to come back, and even if it wasn't some like superficial sin kind of situation, it was just like coming back from the sense of like, oh, to who I'm really meant to be. It felt like this return back to Jesus or back to the Father, and it just correlated so well. And so it was. I think Prodigal Son as a story didn't click for me as a connection to the album until I compared all of the reflections that I had, and I was like, oh, this is literally the story of the Prodigal Son.
Wow.
So then I just kind of was like, okay, that's great. So then I ordered it in the in the order of the parable,
Right.
And then it just became it just kind of wrote itself. I think.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's so cool. Okay. Dang.
It's like a puzzle piece. It was
Yeah.
like your part to it. And,
Yeah.
Dude,
nice.
okay.
That's really cool. I love that. I actually also really appreciated like the track list, like how each song flowed to the next, and it kind of took each like a piece from the parable and that I could sit with. So like if I was listening to remind me right before I confess.
Looking for love.
Looking for love, exactly. Looking for love.
Yeah.
And the last part of Looking for Love, where we have like the like kind of barrage of like rhetorical questions of like how am I lost? Like I was looking for like is this all that I was looking for? Like it felt like when I was listening to it, it really felt like a spiral. Like I was like I'm just like so confused, and it's like it felt like the chase of like I don't know, like this is everything. I'm so dissatisfied. This is everything that I was supposed to be wanting. Like why isn't it? Why why do I have this God-shaped void that I have filled with everything else, and I'm just so deeply dissatisfied. So I like Looking for Love felt like to me like coming to terms with your situation and like the despair in that situation, and then leading into I Confess, which was like after you've like now sat with it and you're coming towards like repentance, you're coming towards like this like, okay, I know what I need. I know that I once had it all, like as the son of a king, like I once had everything that was there for me, and I've left it, and I know exactly like where I need to go. I know exactly like where I need to be right now. So like that kind of like realization moment throughout the album, like I felt very like, yeah, like I guess like carried through in that, and like I got to see like something like Keziah, I know you mentioned this too, of like how visualizable the album is.
I loved that aspect. So guys, I'm not even saying this just because Annsbert is like right here, but I genuinely really love the album, and I'm not the type of person who like downloads every song on the album. I downloaded the entire album, and I'm like over and over again. I really, really loved it. Particularly, my favorite was Coming Home. Coming Home really sat with me, and like you did the whole like angsty cowboy meets prodigal son so perfectly, because I only saw that like recently, but like when I listened to like Coming Home, I'm literally imagining like, you know, like dry deserted place, kind of like tumbleweeds, you know, like flowing in the wind,
Country.
right? And yeah, exactly that. And then like I just love that song is like it's like a narration, and so obviously the soundtracks adds a lot more emotion to it, but I found that when you're singing, your voice has so much emotion in it as well, and it just like carries you through. And then even like the step by step, you know, that build where it's like my father's eyes meet mine, and it's like they start like it's very emotional, right? And it's like for me it's just like wow, that calling towards God, and despite every time you fall, he's always going to be there, and he's always going to be the person to welcome you with open arms. And then even like the fact that he's running to you.
Yes. So I know they mentioned this in Adoration yesterday, was like how unsightly it was. Or in Jewish culture, it would have seemed very unsightly for the father to be running to his son, and that was something that I learned for the first time. And I was like, oh my goodness, like there's I guess I'm just like learning something new about this parable. Like at the you know age of 23, I'm just like so impressed by all of the I guess the fine details of it. So I guess that was going to be my next question was like. Is there anything about the prodigal son story that you learned throughout this like album making process?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think every time I read, it's annoying how many things there's still in there. You know, like because every time I like go into spiritual direction, like there's a sense of like there's something always to be kind of derived from that. I think growing up, obviously we've heard this parable like a ton of times. Even during this retreat, one of the actual holy hours was reflecting on this passage, and I remember just sitting there and going like, okay, like I feel like I've like squeezed every drop that's already in this passage for deep analysis and this and that. But I think there was a moment of like being in that moment, especially when you kind of pointing out this running thing, like I didn't also know about the Jewish custom of not running
As like an elder.
as an elder, but yeah, like I think like even that sense of like him running was really touching for me, because there's a sense of like, oh, it's not like I'll wait and see, you know, what he says, you know, and then I'll come and hug him, and you know, if his apology is good enough, you know, then I'll take him back. It was just like like it hit me so hard, I think, during that retreat also, that like it didn't matter, you know, we didn't have to prove ourselves coming back. You know, it didn't matter what he said. He wasn't, you know, he was already ready to give him back the kingdom.
Right.
You know, he gave him the robes and everything. He didn't even have the chance to fully apologize.
He didn't say the final part. Like,
Yeah.
he never actually got to say the part of, like, oh, let me be your servant.
Let me be your son. Yeah, he didn't let him.
I also was just realized that, like, there's actually 3 separate parts, right? Like, to his apology of him realizing, like, you know, like, I've gone against you. And then it's, like, him saying, like, his last part of, let me be your servant. And he didn't even get to that, and his father immediately was like, oh, with the robes of like welcomed him back, like didn't even give him an opportunity to like offer that option.
Yeah.
And I was like so taken aback by that. I was like,
It's crazy. I feel like even now, if I were to open the passage, like there's a part of me that's like, oh yeah, you've done this, but like it's just like, no, there's probably something to,
More you can give. Yeah.
I do imagine, and that's part of why the album is sort of cyclical. The end of the album actually goes back right
It does.
to the beginning.
to the like it's like the rhythmic melody of same as Beloved.
As Beloved.
Yes.
And a part of that is basically because I do believe that we never stop this story.
Oh, so that was something else that I also was like relating with, listening to this album. I saw it as a daily conversion of like this was a reminder that like the prodigal son story is never ending. It is never going to stop, and I'm going to need it, because this is like this is going to be the case of me stepping away from Christ and then wondering like, why am I so lost? Like, what happened? Like, why am I so dissatisfied? And then recognizing I'm the one that stepped away. Like, it was me. Like, so I think the idea of like how our faith is going to be a daily conversion, it is going to be like a daily yes to the Lord, was really exemplified, and I think like the cyclical nature really like added to it. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So no, that was sick.
Just a little bit off topic with the deep stuff. But so I don't. Have you seen The Chosen?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like the theme song to
Yeah.
The Chosen.
Yeah.
The in the build of Coming Home,
Yeah.
it sounds so similar. And I remember Bro and I were sitting in the car and we were like discussing the song.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yo, how cool would it be
Yeah.
if Coming Home was just played, and like actors from The Chosen just like acted it out while the song just played like." And I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, that'd be so sick.
I'll
My
make a
goodness.
confession. when I produced this album, a part of it was like an audition to try and work
goodness.
it into The Chosen.
Is there a petition? I'll sign it.
I DM'd the composer.
No
Shout out
way.
Dan, if you're watching this.
We have our network.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I DM'd the composer the day of, and I did let him know there's this album, and I'm like this, you know, I'm just
No
a random
way.
person, but I would love if in some ways, and obviously the album will do what it needs to do.
Yeah,
and it has its
yeah,
own
yeah.
effect. And,
It'll have its
but,
fits, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not putting a cap on whatever, but I did have this desire of like, because I think it was around the same time that like season 1 or 2 was just coming
Came
out.
out. Yeah.
And so I was just like very much like inspired that like, oh, if in some ways that I can kind of compose for the biblical story, like that would be really awesome. But anyways, yeah.
Very cool.
It's
That's so funny.
It's a pretty big compliment considering that.
Yo, I loved it so much, and I was like, this is perfect. This is perfect.
And also,
Yeah.
it was Coming Home. I noticed one of the songwriters was Anne Sheila Lewis. I was curious who that is.
Coming home.
This one of the songwriters on Google. It's listed as Anne Sheila Lewis.
That's probably me. It's just probably some sort of
Typo?
typo.
No way.
The only other songwriter is Giovanni Lewis.
Oh.
He's on Looking for Love.
Okay.
And that's my brother.
That's your brother.
Oh,
nice.
okay.
Okay. Wow. And there's no Anne Sheila? I was just so excited.
What?
It's probably Annsbert.
Yeah, the-
Oh
the
my
autocorrect.
goodness.
That makes so
Google
much-
lied.
I was like so excited. I was like, yo, I bet that's his mom.
No. Although I will say, executive producers are both Hector Lewis and Ronnie Arvinden. Both of my parents.
Gotcha.
No.
Okay.
Both of my parents.
so
the song does not come out until it's gone through them, and so
Oh, nice.
it's beautiful because they both bring two different senses. My dad brings a very like technical musical side, and my mom brings a very heartfelt side.
Aw.
And so I kind of like have them both vet every song I
Yeah.
listen to, and once I watch their faces very minutely. If there's anything that like oh, this could be, and I'm like, okay, let me hear that. But if it's a then I'm like, okay, ready.
They're
Oh, satisfied. Yeah.
Way. So
Yeah.
they're your biggest like critics. That you
No,
listen to?
I would say fans.
Yes.
But
Critic
yes,
in like a positive
they have
sense.
all the freedom to just be like,
Right.
we see more for the song.
Wow.
Wow.
That's so cool.
That is really what was it like songwriting with your brother?
Songwriting with my brother. So he wasn't necessarily like trying to write on the song, but I think I love to drag him into the process as much as
Is
possible.
it younger brother?
Let me be honest, for everyone who's out there, he hasn't put out music yet, but when he does, you will realize how talented this guy
We're
is.
ready.
Yo, next you do.
episode.
Like, and I think all of my family will agree hands down, Giovanni is the most talented musician in our family.
Really?
But
Oh.
I'm excited for him to come out. But basically, when he was in the room, he's also he is now the biggest critic in my
No
class,
way.
but I love his opinion because
Yeah.
he always kind of brings this newer perspective of like what's in. He's also very Gen Z, so very
Oh.
honest. Be like, "Nah, bruh."
Yo,
No, he'd be like,
ancient.
I'll walk in, I'll put all my heart and soul into a song, I'll be like, yo, listen to this, and he'll come in and be like, not it, and then he'll just walk out.
Oh.
got some work to do.
But when he you know, but there's a scene or there was like a moment that I was able to capture. I was trying to like record randomly all these moments.
Yeah.
There's a moment where he actually walked in and he helped me figure out the part where it's like, how did we get here?
No. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
the son of a king forgot who he was. I was noodling around with that section for so long, and he's kind of the guy who's like, bro, I got it. Like, this is the moment.
Oh.
And I was just like, yes, thank you so much. So yeah.
Oh, that's
Wow.
amazing. That is
Yeah,
really-
I've seen like Taylor Swift like filming or like what her like writing process looks like.
Yeah.
Like with her producer. Like I'd be so cool to see like a behind the scenes of like
Yeah,
you and your brother like in the future. Like I would.
So
Yeah.
we'll be sure to record more.
Yeah.
Yes, please
Love
do.
to get like a snippet, sneak peek
That's
behind
so-
the scenes.
My
yeah.
fangirl coming out.
I
Yes.
know. We're begging you. Yeah, nice. And then yeah, I was also thinking of your last song on the album, "Son of a King" reprise. I was really stoked this morning when I thought I learned a new literary term or like a literary device.
Sure.
That I asked ChatGPT like what is the term for when an artist uses a line from every previous song in like their final song. And then at the grown age of 23, I learned that's what the word reprise.
Oh, is that what it means?
Wait, what?
Okay, wait. I just thought here it's said again. I didn't know that it's every.
Apparently,
Yeah,
unless,
yeah.
unless GPT's like
Very cool.
faking me,
Okay.
but I.
Hey,
That's so funny.
well, for me, it was like here's the redeemed version of Son of a King.
Right.
Yeah. So here it is
Okay.
done again, but
Right.
the
Right.
reprise.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
got it. Yeah, because I was so excited when I noticed that I'd noticed that like a while ago, right? But this morning I remembered that I knew I wanted to talk about it and I wanted to like call it for its correct musical term or literary whatever. I was like, wait, it's in the title of the song. So, but no, it was really like. It was really beautiful to me, and I liked how like the last verse there was like the story isn't over, it's just begun, and I think it like it speaks to what you were talking about, like that like the
Cyclical.
how it's cyclical, and it's like that daily conversion. Yeah, I think that was my like a huge takeaway for me in that final song because when I was like listening to the album, like I was trying to like really like visualize it in my head, like go through the imagery and then like see like the areas of my life where like I felt the same way or I have had this experience as well. And yeah, I think like this last song was like really good for me to see kind of like the whole story come together and have like that good like reminder of like how what God's unconditional love actually looks like, and what that yes like actually means, like what that coming back to him, like running back to him, like what does that look like? What does it like? What does it look like when we say our yes? It is like God in his open arms, like welcoming us, like ready to receive us. He has this feast prepared for us. He has like all the family come together and he is so excited to have us back. And I think like there's a lot of moments in my life where I've had a lot of like self-doubt or felt a lot of like scrupulosity and a lot of just like grief over my sins and like over like I don't know, just like oh, like how can God love me when I've strayed this far, or when I've been so prideful in my speech and my thoughts, like whatever it might be. And I think this album was also just such a good reminder of like what does it look like when I come back to him? Like, like, I'm not going to be shunned away. Like, I'm not going to be placed at the lowest rank. Like, God is redeeming me. And I think, that idea of redemption was really healing in itself. And it was just acted as like a really good reminder for myself.
Would you say Son of a King was your favorite on the album?
Album? Yeah, I think so. I really liked, I love looking for like literary devices
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
looking for
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. So like I
Hidden
caught
gems.
onto this.
Oh my gosh.
So I saw this and I like really appreciated that. And I think as just kind of like a final piece, I think it I don't know, encapsulated like the whole image for me in my head.
Now that we've mentioned our favorites, do you have a favorite, or like do you have one that like really means a lot to you?
Yeah, Looking for Love.
Yeah. Oh.
You know, it's because this album I think I wrote as like a sort of diary entry of like a moment, but at the same time, Looking for Love never fails to catch me off guard. Because I think sometimes like it is written in a very like tense place, and I think sometimes like in what we've been talking about in the cyclical motion, like whenever I think I continue to like, I'm like, oh, like there's no set. I think that's just kind of my feeling around the album itself, is that like I think growing up I had this idea of like, oh, like I was this way before, and then I experienced God, and now I'm like set for life kind of thing. Like, and I don't necessarily believe that's the case, just because like once we enter into this relationship with the Lord, He's constantly bringing us closer, and that usually means reopening things that like we haven't, like unlearning things and like reopening deeper parts of ourselves. And so in that sense, like there's always something to continue growing into with Him, and that song, even if I'm like listening to it casually, it's almost like an examination of conscience for me. Like it makes me feel, that song, funny enough, like I'm not like trying to toot my own horn, but that song has pushed me to confession way too many times, you know? And I'm just like, oh man, like this is a moment where like I remember who I am, you know, and I'm just like, there's so much more that the Lord has, you know, for me, and I keep putting Him second, you know, putting Him third, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
I also
That is
just
really
love
beautiful.
how intense it gets. That's just
Yeah.
very me as a
Right.
person.
Yeah.
It was really intense, especially
Yeah,
the climax, like leading into it, like
Yeah.
Yo, when you mentioned it, I was like, yeah, for real. It feels like a conversation I'm having
Yeah,
out
yeah,
in my brain.
like a panic attack.
Yeah. It's amazing. Very emotional.
When I first made that album, I sent that to a couple people, and I heard that phrase thrown around multiple times. And I was like, yes, yes. I was like, panic attack is exactly what I
No
wanted to
way.
feel, because I was just like, that's honestly what it feels like when you're separated from
Yes,
God.
Yeah.
it does.
You know, the peace is gone.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I like, honestly speaking, if I wrote a song that was like, oh, like, Lord, I have strayed away, and people were like, oh, I love listening to the song, it's so fun, and like I feel peace, I feel like it wouldn't have done the purpose, you know? Because I wanted to feel like, oh, we have to we have to recognize something's wrong here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, what is next for you? Like, what is next?
So it's definitely a discernment. I'll be honest that like with For You Alone and Son of a King, I definitely love what I've been able to say, and I've wanted to always give first fruits, whatever the Lord is asking of. But like I think this, something that I've been noticing is that like I feel really called to like reach out to areas where you don't necessarily find God. And like in our context, in Jesus Youth or at church, like I think a lot of people have an inkling of desire, an inkling of a search in them. And so when they find a song in Son of a King or For You Alone, there's like an internal, like a little bit of a disposition already. Like you're already kind of open to the Lord. So like when you hear something like this and it's fun, or it's maybe it sounds different, whatever, you're like, oh, cool. Like there's something that catches on to me.
Yeah.
But I do recognize that there are a lot of people. Like I had a friend who I actually took a class on Taylor Swift, the entrepreneurial genius of Taylor Swift.
Whoa! Wow. That's a class.
That's a
it is
class.
a
Okay.
Yeah, so I took this class a couple of semesters ago, and I remember like I was just like sharing with one of my classmates in that class about like Taylor Swift's like strategy in doing this and that, and I mentioned that I make music, and she got so excited, you know, being an avid music listener. And she was like, oh, can I listen to it? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I think like she opened up the album, and there was a sense of like, okay, like I appreciate you make music, but I don't listen to this kind of music, you know? And I remember being like, oh, okay, that's totally fine. But I remember just being like, okay, like there was like a desire in me, Lord, like I also want to be able to reach you know, like people who may not be necessarily entering into these rooms, these
Yeah.
Christian rooms, these, you know, church related spaces. So there are a lot of artists that I've been really inspired by recently. If you guys are familiar, namely Switchfoot and John
Yes.
Bellion.
Yes.
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 I
love
think these
them.
guys are amazing in that they bring so much of the Lord. They bring Christ in their music without necessarily being explicitly Christian. And I don't want to ever like wipe away this my stance on my faith or like I do, but I definitely want to make things that feel more friendly to people who are not necessarily immediately there. And then in the process, if they're open to having a conversation or wanting to grow more, then the faith is at their disposal, you know. But I think like almost like an entryway of like because I do really think there's a reason why, you know, the Lord sent Paul out to the Gentiles. You know, that's just kind of I feel very akin to that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Praise
Yeah.
God. Good luck with that discernment. We'll definitely be praying for you.
Thank you.
We
This
just
is your
have,
like Paul era.
yeah,
It's a little interesting. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm excited. I'm excited to see like what this new wave is going to look like, and I think there is definitely like a need for it.
Yeah.
In like today's culture. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Very
I think
exciting.
we had one more final question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which was just what you would say to any of our youth that are listening when it comes to their faith journey. Any words of advice that you even, or if you were to talk to your younger self.
Sure.
Yeah.
To my younger self and to anybody who's listening, I think there's no greater pursuit than to just ask the Lord to kind of help guide every step of our life. And I think that sounds a little cliche in a very retreat sense, but I mean that very heartfelt because so many of the decisions I've made growing up were based around what I expected people wanted of me or what my parents or what my community needed of me. And there's a sense that like yes, through your community, through your parents, through your church, like you will become the person that you're meant to be. But there's also an innate calling that the Lord has put in each of us. And I don't think that there is any hierarchy of callings. I think there's a beauty in every calling, and that not everyone has to understand that. And so I think when God calls us to something specific, I think there's something beautiful that He's trying to carry out. Saint Catherine of Siena goes, you know, be who you're meant to be, and you'll set the world on fire. And I think we have a lot of people who are not being who they're meant to be because they're trying to be what they feel is expected of them. And I think to break that mold, it just honestly speaking, like many people don't have the answers, and neither do I. But I feel like the only way in this very cyclical nature that we can continue to understand who we're meant to be is running back to the Father in all senses. I think like there's no level of wisdom of being 60, 50, 60 years old and being super charismatic your whole life and just being like, I know how to like decide for myself what, you know, I'm supposed to do. I think the Lord always will have, you know, a deeper plan that we're continuing to grow into. So I think that openness of like, I honestly don't know, like the truth of like, no one really has it figured out, and knowing that I don't have it figured out, and that's perfectly fine because I know my Father will take care of me, you know, and not I have to have everything figured out myself. But that's it.
Like the plan is unfolding.
Yeah.
You're yet to find out.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love the trust there. That's
Yeah.
definitely something I need to work on myself. But yeah, that is very beautiful. Very, very well said. Thank you again for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting.
Yeah, this is actually, I love this. I could go on for a while talking. But yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much to our editors of this video. But that is all for us today.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Thank
Take
you so
care.
much. Bye.